What's it like seeing a brain for the first time?
It feels a bit like it kind of cuts a little bit like.
Wow.
Are there any famous ghost stories?
I actually see it with my own eyes.
So sexual assault happens and then the victim actually managed to scratch the guy or what and get the DNA under the skin. Okay. Is that actually helpful?
Okay. The body has already been opened and the head was also open. I was just thinking, okay, if the body were to move, there's the door. If this is a murder, they will invite me.
What's the feeling like when you get that call? Is it like excitement? Is it like, work?
Excitement.
Oh, no.
I was sent together with Singapore Police Force, AirAsia QZ 8501 crash. I remember feeling life is worthless.
Nat actually had a good question that she was telling me about before.
Got it from my storybook. No, so basically the case was that this guy, he was murdered with a blunt force trauma to the head, but then the murderer also pushed him off the cliff. So then there are two hits to the head, one from the weapon and then one from maybe the rocks at the sand bed itself. Yep. So how do y'all determine which is the cause of that? Because both of it are at such close proximity at the time it happened.
Okay. So I thought you were going to ask me, how can I tell the injury apart in the first place?
Oh, that also.
So that's the first question. So the first question is, how can you tell? Say, for example, if the weapon was a hammer, right? And the thing that he fell on is a rock, then perhaps you can tell the difference.
But if he fell on a hammer,
but
then...
if he was hit, I was going to say if he fell on a rock, I mean, if he used a rock, However, at the same time, because you said fall off a cliff, so there's a height involved as well. So there may be. So it could be the same. It could be rocks, but it still may leave a different pattern. So we have to put all of that together in order to come to a conclusion. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that which one caused that? Then you look at each individual injury and say, well, this injury, in the ordinary sort of course of nature, can it have caused death, right? Because if fallen off the cliff, then I would expect it to be a lot more severe than just being hit by a person. I mean, the person may be very, very big, but I don't think he can recreate the force of, falling from height.
So if I really wanted to hide this, right, I have to drop a rock the same distance to him as he is from the bottom of the cliff.
So CID, you are hearing him,
If there's a similar case,
I think after this episode is on the watch list. So I'm curious, right, in the scenario that John Paul discussed, are you able to tell if I drop a very large rock from 40 stories above versus if someone fell onto a rock?
Yeah, there may be certain characteristics. One of the types of fractures that you will get if something was dropped directly on a person's head, for example, and it is a ring fracture at the base of the skull. That is something that is a characteristic. It can be caused by some other scenarios as well, but that's one of the things. But if you were to have fallen, very, very few of them would land directly on the top of their head. Right? So the pattern of injuries would be different. So it's not just the injury on the head as per se, it's like the pattern of the injuries.
Then can I ask, right, like in Singapore, if the police or whoever are unable to find a murder weapon, can the person still be charged for murder?
We interrupt this episode because I have some girl problems then. I need to ask you for advice.
Hey, thanks, man.
So basically on WhatsApp, right? Wait. Do you know a Lauren Lee?
Yeah.
No, for real. Okay, because I anyhow delete this person. So on WhatsApp, right, there was this Lauren Lee that messaged me recently.
Hey, well done,
and then I roughly can tell based on the picture that it's like a scam lah.
Oh.
So I deleted it, right? Then a few moments later, right, the same exact number messaged me, but the profile picture changed. But then you see, it changed to this like it changed to a clearly AI photo.
You know what this happens? This happens when you don't use the block and report function on WhatsApp.
Oh damn, but it's made a funny story for me to tell you.
It's true lah, it's true. But if you don't know, right, the blocking and reporting is so important. So the blocking prevents that number from texting you again.
Okay.
But the reporting part actually sends WhatsApp the last 5 messages so they know to ban this account for essentially violating terms and conditions, including scams.
Right. Okay. You walk me through, Ken, because right, you say block and report, but every time I open, right, it just says block.
Correct. So you click the number. So you see the block.
Okay.
You click on the block.
Then you have block and report. Okay.
Block and report.
So you should always choose the option.
Yeah, so a lot of people block only, but the problem with blocking only is that you're not telling WhatsApp to ban this account, so they can still go and scam other people.
If Lauren Lee from Iran messages any of you, be wary.
How you know it's from Iran?
It says here. Oh, it changed to Tajikistan. So they can change location. So maybe Lauren is a nomad.
Yeah, maybe she digital nomad. She's traveling for a living. Alright, so that's your Operation SOP for today.
Save our parents.
That's right. So block and report, because the reporting part really helps to prevent other people from getting scammed.
Help me.
That's right.
Help you.
Back to the episode.
Then can I ask, right, like in Singapore, if the police or whoever are unable to find a murder weapon, can the person still be charged for murder?
I think the short answer is it's up to AGC to decide that. But
Attorney General's
but the long
chambers.
answer is it all depends on what sort of evidence you have in order to say something.
You have camera footage.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah. So without saying what sort of criteria, it all boils down to what sort of evidence you have in order to accuse and then charge. A person. Yeah.
Is there a way to tell, like, if something was like a wound or whatever, right, was out of self-defense? For example, if let's say you're trying to attack me, and then I hold a knife to try and deter you, right?
Yeah.
And then I stab you and you die.
Okay.
Then I am the killer, ma. But how do I
Okay.
prove that was self-defense?
Yeah.
Like,
So context lah, like how come you holding a knife? What was I doing? Why was I coming to you? How come you stick your knife out at me, right? You weren't, because if I were carrying a knife and my family are around, I intentionally shield it from them.
It's the full account that you need to take into consideration.
Correct. Yeah.
but if you swing at me, then you miss, then you turn around, then you fall over me.
Then we have to. Then we have to put all that. Then my question is then how come you're on the ground now? Were you prepared for me to fall on you?
Okay. Let me think this through. I come back to you.
You won't pass the interrogation. if you keep changing your story, you're guilty as charged. Let's say for any other case, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give one example, which sometimes we hear about. So somebody may have been driving a car, right? And he's alone by himself. And, perhaps he was seen to veer off the road and he, goes off the curb and crashes into a tree, for example. So in that kind of scenario, everybody would say, well, it's a road traffic accident, right? But the thing is that he did veer off the road on his own, right? There was no incident that caused it to happen. So could something else have happened that caused that? I'll give you 3 broad things that we may look at. Could he have a natural disease that caused him to lose consciousness, that caused that to happen, right? The second one is obviously, if somebody had been known, and this is where the investigation report is important as well, known to have been, consuming alcoholic beverages or, doing other things that, may have an effect on his driving ability, that is another group of things that we may need to look at. The third one is, maybe he did indeed pass away from his injuries, but which injury is fatal, and is the injury consistent with the road traffic accident, for example, or something else. I think I didn't do the case, but CNA yesterday, the coroner reported a case from 2022 in which a man was in a car pile up. And he passed away because parts of the airbag had actually caused his death. So he didn't pass away because of injuries from the impact, but he passed away from penetration by an object that had come out of the airbag. And you can read it. So it's already a published case. It serves as a reminder to all that, if your car is slated for some kind of recall or there's a warning from the manufacturer that, maybe you should check to see if there's a faulty part and, go to the, car maker or the distributor to get it changed, then certainly, don't ignore it.
You mentioned that because the car accident that you meant earlier was it happened in 2022.
Yes,
But then
if I remember
only
correctly, yeah.
yesterday that
Yes.
they released the coroner. So is that the usual timeline of how
Yeah.
long the entire case would
Yeah.
take?
So I can't speak for the courts, but certainly in a lot of cases, it may take longer because it just depends on how much evidence is needed to be gathered in order to actually have an inquiry for the coroner to make a finding. Yeah. So I mean, this is only one example. There are other examples in which the inquiry was performed within, I think, even less than a year.
If you are like keeping the body for so long, right, then does it not just decompose?
Yeah. Like how
do you
fresh does the
preserve?
body need to be?
Okay.
Ice baby.
Okay, wait. So the coroner's inquiry, right? It's not that we are holding on to the body. We've not held out. Yeah. So even for the case, let's rewind and say the one that the carbon monoxide one. Actually, the body was released within the same day to the next of kin. It's just that we've already gathered the information from the autopsy, and then of course we have already taken the samples and sent to the labs. And I looked at it. I can look at it under the microscope later on. So we don't have to keep bodies until all the results are out. There's no need to do that.
Wait, so you're kind of like a detective also?
Actually, in a way, forensic pathology, you have to be a doctor first. It's a specialty. It's a medical specialty. So actually, if you think about the job of any doctor, whether it's in a clinic or the hospital, they are also doing a detective work. And that's actually how I explain my job to my kids. So in the past, I used to talk to the patient, right, or talk to their family members, find out what happened, right? So that's kind of like the investigation officer's job, right? Then we look at the medical records. We also do that. Then we will run tests, blood tests, x-rays, and so on. And that's similar to what I do, right, with the postmortem CT scan, toxicology test, and so on. And what the doctor is trying to do is find out the diagnosis, like what is causing the person to be ill. So whereas I am finding out what is causing the person to, I guess, pass away. Right? So it's similar. So actually, it is detective work, just in a different setting.
Some will argue that yours is easier because you don't have to talk to patients. Because like sometimes patients might actually cloud the judgment by saying, actually, I did this, but actually wrong information.
Everything he's describing, right? I'm picturing Batman.
No, same.
How long does it take to become a forensic pathologist?
The quickest in Singapore is maybe 11 to 12 years. So I'll describe to you.
What? No. No wonder there's so few.
Wait, how many are there?
But
Welcome to Serious Bias Only from the agents who brought you classics like... Hi guys, today I'm gonna show you the hottest new development in District 19. It's only a 5-minute walk away from the MRT. Come on in. Sister, this unit is not south-facing, very hot on the market. 我没有骗你的，你要放 deposit 吗？ Anyway, you let me know, okay? Because I have another buyer already. Mrs. Ong, buy house with me, very easy one. You only need to know the ABSD, the SSD, the PSD, the HME, the SPS, the MP, the KP, and the LP. Yeah, don't need that, huh? Tony! Oh my god, I got your offer leh! Comes a brand new season of rising interest rates, hidden fees, and million-dollar HDBs. I'm your famous host. Buckle up, cause this season is for serious bias only. Brought to you by your agent's commissions.
No agents were harmed in the making of this show. Sorry, everybody else. Any resemblance to real-life events and pricing is purely coincidental.
We poke fun at agents. Now watch the real ones put their skills to the test. Catch the finale of Property Guru's new reality TV show, Home Run, this Wednesday on YouTube and Channel 5 at 10 p.m.
How long does it take to become a forensic pathologist?
the quickest in Singapore is maybe 11 to 12 years. So I'll describe to you.
What? No. No wonder there's so few.
Wait, how many are there?
But okay, so there are 10 currently qualified
10 what?
forensic pathologists.
Phoenix.
They work for him.
10 of you.
10. Well, there's one of me, but then only do the same job.
Enough, man.
We've got forensic technical officers, who help us with the autopsy process. Like we talk about the CT scanning. They are the ones who do the CT scanning as well. They do many different jobs in the mortuary. We've got our admin folk who would do some of the filing and so on, and as well as do the front-facing, talk to to the next of kin, and
Everybody needs a
so on.
team.
So it's a whole kampong lah, I guess, to come together to deal with this. So it's not like I have to handle 5,000 cases on my own.
Okay, so you're saying 11 years.
Yes, 11 to, okay, so quickest, right? Okay. So I described to you, in Singapore, medical school generally is 5 years. Okay, so that's your first 5 years. Then you would at least have to do a year of housemanship. Then after that, you decide, hey, what specialty do I have to go in? And after you have decided, it takes at least another 5 years because our training program is 5 years. Because you need to gather knowledge, right? You need to study the books. You need to gather the experience. Like I said, by the time I finish, I've already done almost 1,000 autopsies. So it becomes sort of like second nature, right? And then of course there are certain requisite exams that you need to take in order to say you are qualified.
Wait a second. So like to fail a course in this forensic pathology is like I do the autopsy wrong. Like the implication of failing a course is very big, no?
Yeah. Okay. So my fellowship exam with the Royal College of Pathologists in UK included doing an autopsy. So they give you half a day in the morning. I think it was 3 hours. I can't remember, right? Where, they tell you the details of this case and all that kind of thing. You're given some time to read through. Then you have to do the autopsy.
But this one is real, it's not like
It's
a
real.
dummy body that they
It's real.
that they-
It's real.
So it's like whoever died like the night before or like that morning.
I can't remember when
You sure?
but it is certainly one of one of the cases that needed to be
Wow.
Right? But in order to get there, you must already have shown that you have done X
So,
number of years and all that kind of.
What's it like seeing a brain for the first time?
The brain is actually one of the hardest organs to dissect because there are a lot of parts. It's such an intricate system within itself. There's curves here and there, and then there's blood vessels here and there, and all of them play a critical role to ensure that you function and you stay alive. But the thing is, like the brain is particularly, how would I put this? Soft. In that it feels a bit like tofu. It's white like tofu. It kind of cuts a little bit like tofu. I don't recall having a very bad reaction. So I guess it must have been nothing much.
I'm convinced that medical school is so long, right, to desensitize you from like all these weird stuff.
What made you like decide on this specialty?
I'm a very hands-on person. So since young, origami, playing the piano, ball games, things like that, all these are my interests. So when I was deciding to go to medical school, what I had hoped for was to gain a skill that can help people.
Okay.
That was a very, I guess a very 天真, sort of naive thinking, but I thought it was a good thing, right? And I had the ability to do it. So I went into medical school. Then I chose surgery as my goal. So I wanted to be a surgeon because hands-on.
Yeah.
Skill, right?
help people.
It can help people. But as I went into it further, I decided it wasn't suitable. It's not a career switch. I guess I switched my focus and I landed in forensic pathology.
You could say you found your pathology.
No one has done that before.
Really?
No,
It's right there
very
though.
lame, no?
I don't know if you can tell, but I got a burn.
Yeah.
I got burned.
You got burnt?
Yeah.
Okay, let me examine that for you.
How big is the wound?
I don't see any evidence of it.
When you told your mom like you're gonna do this, right? How do you explain it to her, and what was like their reaction?
I am very fortunate because my parents and Leanne, my wife, they had no objections at all.
Right.
They had no objections at all. As a matter of fact, I also also let my in-laws know as well.
Yeah. So many people to tell.
Yeah. And actually, whenever I interview folk who want to join our department, whether it's the doctors or the technical officers or admin folk, we tell them that, this is the kind of work that you'll be involved in, right? And you should be sure that you have not, no problems with it. But not just that, I think you need to get some support from your loved ones as well. It's just, I think in the Asian context, there may be some folk who are a bit uncomfortable. And yeah, it still happens. I hear taxi drivers who don't refuse to drop off either the people who are coming to the mortuary in the parking area. So they would rather drop the person off at the main road because they don't want to come in because it's
Like
the
pantang
mortuary. Perhaps. I mean, I don't have that sort of belief, but there are people who have that sort of belief.
On the driver app is specifically mortuary. I don't.
It says Block 9 SGH or a mortuary at HSA, or you can always just use the men pai, the lot number. But the thing is, like, once they arrive, then they know this is
mortuary
the place. This is the place. Yeah. So
Are there any famous like ghost stories or anything from Block 9?
From Block 9, not that I have heard. Well, folk ask me whether I have experiences. I don't. Yeah.
You don't have Halloween night or what?
We don't. I think in our culture we don't particularly sort of like celebrate Halloween. Although there's a lot of parties and folk who may dress up on the day. No, we don't specifically.
So that day, the person performing the autopsy is like a zombie.
No, like do groups reach out to you and like if it's close to Halloween, like hey, we want to like visit for like a
Wow, no, not
okay.
yeah. But I mean, we wouldn't allow it as well. I think it's not.
Don't reach out; they won't allow.
when shows like CSI came out, CSI Miami and CSI New York and all the different CSIs, right? Like, is it a fair representation of the job?
They solved the whole case in like one day.
So actually, it's not just one day. It's like 40 minutes, right? Then you plus plus ad breaks and all that kind of thing. A lot of the technologies actually that they use may be present. It's just that it may not be proven. It may not be admissible to court. It's not yet proven. So while it is available, it doesn't mean that it can be used in a practical sense. So that's one thing. Okay. The second thing is about the speed and and how everybody seems to know the answers. Or if not, like everybody has some encyclopedic knowledge, right? Of like paint colors of cars and like how.
Oh my god!
Right? It's like they have the Pantone inside their head, right? It's a blue color. Oh, I know this is what code, right?
It was a yellow Chevrolet.
How do you know, right? But maybe such characters do exist. Of course, the other thing is, we are all not the same. We are not good-looking people, but
so why all good-looking people end up being forensic scientists?
Then give me my leather jacket also, lah.
On TV, right, they say in certain cases where sexual assault happens, and then the victim actually like managed to like scratch the guy or what and get the DNA under the skin. Okay. Is that actually helpful?
Yes, it can be helpful, but the trouble is the hands are kind of very dirty things, right? Because you touch all sorts of things. So you can probably find a lot of DNA under, anybody's sort of fingernails. Yeah. But certainly if it is possible, to be able to, I guess, get something out of it.
Then as an extension, right, if I find myself in trouble, is there like a specific thing that I should do to make sure that evidence is preserved in a sense,
In general, is, don't do anything until sort of help comes if it's safe enough to do so.
Right. Look after your safety first.
Yeah, and also remain in the place, because the more you move or the more you do things and so on, it affects what can be
observed.
Yeah,
Evidence
observed or can be deduced from looking at what's available.
Right.
Yeah, but of course, if it's safe enough, I mean, if you have to run away from somebody, then run away from somebody, obviously, right?
So if I find I happen to find a body, right?
Okay.
Do not touch.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, you wouldn't want to touch the dead body anyway, right?
No, my wife is like, are you awake? Then I do CPR.
Oh, yeah. You try to save a life.
Yeah, you like that. Then next moment,
okay. I mean, what I was thinking is that you have already ascertained that the person is dead, Yeah, but certainly you must help the person if you can.
But if I'm not sure the person is alive,
you're supposed to put your ear at their mouth area and feel whether got breath and hear for breath.
Or can I put my specs and see whether it fogs?
But if you don't have specs, but then you take off, then how you see?
Then.
I have specs at home.
Actually, speaking of Singapore, right, because we are a hotter country also, right, and the climate and all that, does that actually affect the work?
Perhaps you are thinking in the line of, if it's warmer, then bodies may decompose faster, and therefore, that may affect what we can find out from a body. That may be true, but so back to Singapore being small, transportation of the bodies to our mortuary is not as challenging as in some other countries. Police hearse that they use is also refrigerated. That maintains, preserves the body to a certain extent. Then the other thing is also being a smaller country as well. It means that I would say more easily found. Like,
if they need to call you.
the discovery, responding and all that is also faster. And then so add on to the transportation, being quicker as well. The distances covered is less. So that is less of a thing.
It negates the warmer climate lah.
I guess that's it. And then of course the thing is a lot of things happen indoors as well, right? I mean, so while it's not a cold country, I don't really see that many decomposed bodies. Yeah, I mean, it's a small proportion of our work.
You literally know how so many people end up dying, right? Like, is there a lifestyle change or choice that you make so that you avoid certain causes of death?
I don't smoke. I don't indulge excessively in foods and stuff like that. But certainly, from what I can see, I can tell, my family or my friends, I actually see it with my own eyes. So perhaps you may want to consider or reconsider your own choices.
So is it true that I take out the lung, the smoker, then it's like black color?
Okay, that one is not true. Not true to a certain extent. To a certain extent. For those of you who are wondering, a lot of folk think that perhaps, smoking will make the lungs become black. Truth in that because you are inhaling smoke and that is essentially a pollutant that contains carbon, so your lungs can become black because of that. But it's not the carbon that actually kills in smoking, right? It's the nicotine and, being addicted to it and causing coronary artery disease and a lot of other problems as well. So it's not just making your lungs black.
So I just want to touch on that. So you said because of what you've seen, of friends who you will say like, hey, I think you should reconsider. I'm assuming it's the smoking, the drinking and all that.
That's one. Yeah, those are some groups of people. Yeah.
And the other groups?
Perhaps dietary, living sedentary lifestyles.
So if you hear it from your doctor that you should go exercise and you're still not doing it, hear it from a pathologist who is literally seeing cause of death.
Okay, so like to close the episode, right? For people who are maybe interested in this line of work, do you have any advice for them or something that they need to know but they might not know until they get into the profession?
Certainly, the first thing is that, you can't run away with having to deal with death. Okay, but the way we deal with that is in the most respectful and dignified manner. Okay, the other thing is that a lot of medical students at the medical school stage would say, "Oh, I want to be this and I want to be that." And I was one of them, right? I wanted to be a surgeon.
Yeah,
I think my take is that certainly pursue your dreams.
Sure.
Okay, but I think as a young person, do not be closed off to anything else, right? You may have an aim, but there's a lot of other things that could come and you can be very effective.
There's so many surgeons in Singapore, but there are only 10 forensic pathologists.
So if your dream is to be the top 10 something in Singapore,
it's not even top 10%, it's top 10.
top 10.
So we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you, Dr. Lee, of course, for joining us today and answering all of our random questions and really breaking things down for us. Leave your comments down below if you have any questions. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Can we donate our bodies to science? So that, that there are bodies for them to practice on.
The answer is you definitely can donate your body to science. You can donate your body, for example, organs for a living person as well who might need it. In Singapore, that happens regularly for patients who pass away in the hospital. If the person had before death expressed that they want to donate the bodies for research, education, etc., science, and the family are agreeable, then we would submit this as a list and MOH actually takes a look at it.